Hey, Kool-aid Krew. Sorry I didn't do a live stream yesterday, but we'll talk about that here in a minute. Hey guys, I'm going to be able to show you some live Aurora photography. Thanks to one of our awesome subscribers there. You can see the message right there on the screen. We've also got some interesting stuff to talk about with just getting hit with this storm altogether. It's lasting a lot longer than I think a lot of people thought it was going to, if it was even going to really hit that hard at all. And it's not like this is not catastrophic stuff, just so you guys understand. This is just really this kind of stuff we don't see every day, I guess I will say. And so yeah, so that's what we're going to talk about today. And we will just kind of jump into it as we get going here, okay, guys? Alright guys, so what I want to do, I guess first thing I want to do is I want to show you these Aurora photography really quick, and we'll come back to it in a minute. So these are going to be from, I believe, is it North Dakota? Yeah, Central North Dakota. We're getting this from one of our awesome subscribers. She's in the chat right now, and I think her husband's watching too. Lamanda Meckel. They're faint where she's at right now, but some of these I'm getting ready to show you guys are not faint. They're not like bam in your face or anything, but they are awesome nonetheless. So I'll just say that. If you guys could, please share this out. It does help way more than anything that I could, any kind of support we get. That's typically the best support you can give anybody. But I do want to let everybody know about yesterday, okay? But first, before I do that, I want to show you some of these, okay? These just happened. This is in Central South Dakota, so it's not out of the ordinary to see them up here. I think Lamanda would say the same thing, right? I think most of us probably would. Up towards North Dakota, Central North Dakota, it's a common thing, right? So with that being said, we don't want any kind of crazy feedback there, right, guys? And again, guys, I don't have any expectation of getting some big, huge live stream tonight. This is a really weird time for me to be going live. I used to do this a lot, and it just simply does not work because you just don't get the views that you can reach a lot more people if you go at different times. So it's going to be really imperative if you guys help me here with just sharing this out and liking it. Come back to the video and hit the like button and leave me a comment. I'm not like saying it's nothing. That's not my focus. My focus is on what I'm showing you right here. But in order to get everybody to see it, that's what the algorithm makes us do. So unfortunately, that's what we have to do this, right? We see them often here. Yeah, I would think. Lamanda, I really would because of your location. And well, actually, let me just show all these pics here real quick. Guys, these are cool. I mean, yeah. So I would love to be able to walk out in my backyard or wherever Lamanda's at and her husband and just see these things just very often. I mean, look at that. Now, I want to point something out here too with this one especially. Guys, they've got lights on. And they're still seeing them. So what I'm saying is, even with some light pollution a little bit from their location, it's not like, inside of a city somewhere. But what I'm saying is, even from their perspective, there is some light pollution right here, and they're still seeing them. So these are significant. It's pretty cool. It's cool stuff. As you guys know, we've been seeing all kinds of crazy aurora this year anyway. Last year we had records breaking. This year we're seeing things that that simply are kind of strange to see, like the orange ones. And I went into that on why we've seen that. It's not like they're impossible. We've seen them before. There are some explanations out there for them. I tried to share that with you guys. And actually, some people kind of got upset because I didn't agree with what they were saying and, and everything else. But I'm just giving you all the information, both sides of it. You guys can decide what you want to believe. You know what I mean? That's just what it is. I do understand colors, and I understand how colors mix. And the fact of the matter is, with Aurora, light does not mix like paint and ink. Okay? It's different. Now, from your perspective, mainly because of the substrate. The substrate is basically the background. So when you're doing print like I did, The substrate is actually the plastic bowl. When you're looking up in the sky, what's the substrate? It's the atmosphere. Okay? The atmosphere is in a continual state of change. So it causes things to really be hard to hammer down what's going on. And, and also, what's it take to make orange color, right? Because what the comment that I got was, hey, we got, what were the two colors? It was green and red. How is that not making brown, right? That's what they were saying. And they're 100% right when you go and you start mixing paint and stuff like that. But the issue here is what makes green? Yellow and blue. So if you can somehow make the green on the yellower side, it's going to produce an orange color. And that's the point there. As our good friends at Ziploc saw this yellow and blue make green, right? Well, anybody that's any kind of young age, you might not know that commercial. But, yeah. Believe it or not, you youngins, we're over here in hillbilly country. Youngins, listen. Yellow and blue didn't always make green in my world. We didn't have no Ziploc, nothing. We had sandwich bags that had a little fold in them, and you had to, yeah. That was my lunchbox. If I was lucky enough to have a lunchbox. Typically, it was going to school, getting the old nasty school lunches, the peanut butter sandwiches, and whatever else. But anyway, these are awesome, Lamanda. I just have to say, these really are. Not only are we seeing these things live, but I mean, it's just really cool. Aurora, in my opinion, I have never seen them with my naked eye. I've never been, in person. I've never seen these things. I wish I could. And it's awesome that she's even picking up some of the purpler colors down through here. And why is that changing? Guys, you also have to understand Aurora, too, how it's produced. We're not looking for a molecule like when we were talking about the orange. We're not looking for a molecule that, when excited by the space weather, the charged particles, when it excites oxygen molecules, it puts off the molecule itself. When it's going back to its stable state, puts off that green color. Okay? The molecule, I can't remember what molecule it is that puts off actual orange. It also puts off other colors as it's going back to its stable state that would drown out the orange. So that makes it a lot more difficult to see orange unless you take the green or the yellowish green and put it in close to the same atmospheric level as the red that's being produced by nitrogen molecules that are being excited by space weather. They're not actually mixing together and becoming one cohesive molecule. They're just sitting next to each other, or more so, most likely, kind of sitting right on top of each other because the layers had gotten compressed from the geomagnetic storm we were in. Hey, Schaefer girl, I was actually asking about you. I hadn't seen you in a couple days, even over on Marf. But yeah. So, and also, I will say this too, guys. My daughter had surgery yesterday. There was some stuff that happened with that I was a little upset about. And I just, yeah, that's why I didn't do a live stream yesterday. I was concentrating on making sure she was okay. She was supposed to have mouth surgery. She has a orthodontist appointment. It's coming Thursday, but she had two teeth. Her canines were actually in the roof of her mouth. They'd grown into the roof of her mouth. So they were putting brackets on them, and the orthodontist is going to hook a chain to it, and pull them into place that way. But with that being said, they were supposed to put her out. And I get there, and the guy and the doctor come in there and said, I'm not putting her out. I'm like, what? What? You just, I wasn't there for the pre-op, and I wish I was, the pre-op appointment. But regardless, my daughter was a trooper. She looked at me and she said, Dad, if they're going to sedate me a little bit, I can handle this. And I'm so proud of her. And she did. She handled it, and, getting cut on like that and having to do that with just being that way when you thought it was going to be something different and just being put on the spot saying, I'm not putting you out. His reasoning was very valid, though. I guess when you get put out, like if you're at a hospital setting, they actually give you a paralytic. And I'm not sure if people know that or not. When they put you out for like in a surgery at a hospital for any kind of like anything, really, they give you the typical medicines to put you out too, but they give you a paralytic so you don't jerk and twist while you're sleeping, while you're there getting knocked out, right? Well, they don't do that. They can't do that in an office setting, right? That's where we were at. We were at the orthodontist's office, and that's where he does all his oral surgery. But it's not a hospital. So he said with him having to put brackets on in the small space that he was trying to get in there to, he said he couldn't have her twitching at all. And it made sense. It made perfect sense to me. I just wish that had been relayed to us, and it wasn't. So, of course, at first we were going to get her wisdom teeth knocked out too. I know you guys don't want to hear all these details, so I'm going to keep moving. Sorry. But I just want to give you guys an explanation on why I wasn't here. So just so you know, Miss Dragon, prayers for you too, sister. I haven't been able to catch up on your stuff either, girl. I hope you're okay. Just prayers for everything, guys. So, yeah, Shaper girl, I haven't been reading the chat either, so it's good to see all you guys. So I'm gonna keep moving here, guys. I want to keep it kind of concise and to the point here. Okay, so anyway, we got these things, and and first off, let me just say this. Ilea, come on, man. You gotta be smacking me in my face. Say, hey, Wade, just quit squirreling. Get back to the conversation here. She needs to throw an acorn at my squirrel. I'm telling you, man, just hit me in the head with it. That's what I'm trying to say. Anyway, let's just go. So, Lamonda, thank you so much for these. These are very, very good picks, number one. And for guys, listen, in the chat pre-stream, she said, hey, I'm looking at them right now. I said, well, send me some pics. I assumed I was going to get them like later on and like all that. And she's like, well, my husband's going to send them to you right now. I'm like, whoa, awesome. So I'm showing you live Aurora pics. It's awesome. I've never been able to do that. So thank you for letting me do that. So cool. Hey, Deep Quake, good to see you, brother. Good to see you. Okay, so let's go back here, and here's the thing, right, guys? I'm going to show you what I've seen, because I've been trying to keep up with this, but with given the stuff going on in my life right here past couple days, haven't been able to like focus on this as much as I would have liked, right? So when I start looking at things, I'm seeing things that we weren't expected to see. Let me say this, unforecasted this way, right? It's not something crazy over here, over there. What I'm trying to say is that but I am seeing some stuff in the magnetosphere that I haven't seen in ever, really. I don't know that I've ever seen it look like this on this particular tool. And I'm trying to figure out why, okay? So my guess is it's some sort of data collection, maybe. I will say this, too. When I was sitting here talking to my mods in the background here a little bit, this happened. Watch this. This is Go 16, and this is normal, so don't freak out. Okay? Watch what happens. Okay. That's an eclipse. That Go 16 is in eclipse position. This happens. Alright? This is expected. So I was trying to think, well, did it happen at the same time I was seeing this kind of strange data collection? And it wasn't. So this just happened about, well, you can see the time right there. So anyway, we'll just leave that at that. But I was looking at that and I seen that, well, and that's what, and so when you guys come over here and look at this particular graph and you see this, that's why. This data is being collected on that satellite. Okay? So when it gets eclipsed, it can't see the stuff to collect the data. It can't see the sun. So that's why you get these backward spikes. Okay? This is nothing more than no data. That's all that means. Okay? There's nothing weird going on with that part of it at all. So that's very normal, and I hope I explained that to you good enough, I guess. Just try to keep it as simple as I can with that. The satellite was in a position that the Earth passed in front of it, in between the satellite and the sun, much like SDO does, that I've talked about ad nauseum, because I have to explain it every time, because there's those out there that choose to do channel content that are telling you that it's something that it's not. Um, I can prove that it's not. But anyway, we're going to keep moving on that aspect. But yeah, this is this no data. So, but what I will say, look down here. Geomagnetic activity has been skirting with geomagnetic storm level all day. That was not in the forecast. Okay? And so how do I know it wasn't in the forecast? Well, let's look at the forecast. I don't think they've changed it yet. Yeah, they haven't. Well, the 30th is gone. Looks like. But I can, if I was to show you my stream last night and show you the 2 days ago, the 30th, this was not, this all day event type of thing that's going on right here was not in the forecast, not even close. So just let me say that. Now, also, get that off of there. Had that on there for a while there. Okay. Upside the noggin. What a squirrel did you do? You guys are killing me in there. Just happened to look down. Hey, J-Pos, represent here, T-Product. Guys, you guys are all-stars. George, all-star, all-star, all-star. Okay, so we did get a geomagnetic storm. We did get into storm level, okay? Now, if we come down here and we look at the Aurora oval right now, you can definitely see, you know, this right here is North Dakota. So Lamonda was sitting right there. Central somewhere. Central North Dakota. Somewhere in there. Okay, well, just let me do this so you guys can see it more. How about that? Okay? So the oval itself is moving from right to left. It's rotating that way. So anybody over here, if we get any kind of intensification, you would have a small chance of seeing it in Northern California if it intensifies. Now, also, guys, we can never, ever rule out the possibility of a crack opening up somewhere, too. That can happen at any time. And it tends to happen around closer to the oval than away from the oval, okay? For obvious reasons, because the energy typically does come in through the poles. So that's why. But cracks can open up anywhere at any time. There is no like set, hey, over here. We've had reports of, you know, just regular Aurora, then we'll get 1 or 2 reports just like way off the deep end over here. And what that is that's just a crack that opens up, and it closes up very quickly. Typically, those kinds of Aurora don't last very long at all. But I will say this too: when the cracks open up, we do seem to get pretty intense Aurora when we see those. And I would imagine because it's just wide open for the space weather to come in. I'm not an Aurora expert. I do understand how they work, but you know, I'm not an expert at this whatsoever. And that's why I'm downcast. I don't pretend to know something that I don't. All right. So I hope you guys kind of appreciate that too. But you can see where the most intense signature is here. I guess I could just run the model. That's stupid. I don't know why I just didn't run that model. So this is earlier today. I'm just going to grab the slide bar. So watch what happens. And then bam, right there. It started early, right? Look. So right there it got real intense. And that's probably where when we were, what time is that? 13:35, because we can check. 13:35, and my guess is, well, because this is the highest part of the storm here, was right at the turn of the day just a few hours ago. So maybe not. I don't know. Let's just take a look at this model again. So that's at 13:35 UTC. Kind of calms down again. And you see how you get kind of a lopsided thing there? That's very typical, okay? So, but that's what we have right now. Now, again, things are going to move, and it's moving clockwise. That's how this works. We're spinning counterclockwise, right? So, but the Aurora moves that way because it's actually on the the day side of the sun, or day side of the sun. The day side of the planet is where it hits. So you kind of get this like, and it's also because of the tilt of our magnetic field. That has something to do with it. It also has something to do with geological North Pole too. That's where the barber pole's at, right? The physical, bam, there's your North Pole. everything by perspective. You got to consider all of that stuff, and I know I probably just confused about 3/4 of you. Um, and that's to be expected because that's something I shouldn't talk just real fast through. But I just wanted to give you guys a basic idea. So if that confused you, don't feel like it's something that you did. It's me. Um, just saying. So if we come back over here to the Discover data, now the biggest thing I want to point out, guys, you guys hear me say all the time, -6 on the BZ, right? That's the threshold we look for us to be magnetically accepting to the space weather. If we're at that -6 or further negative, we tend to get stronger storms. Things come in easier. It doesn't take much more of a hit to get us to storm level when that's going on. Especially if you keep going south and south and south, right? Notice this is saying -30. That typically doesn't show that on this graph. Usually it's 0 to 10. Okay? So when they have to increase it like that because there's readings either in the positive up that direction or in the negative, they have to increase that graph so we can see it. Okay? So, but the main thing here is -6 shows up, they shade it in like this lavender color right here. For all intents and purposes, we've been in that for 24 hours almost. Okay? I mean, you guys can see it. It's right there. There's no question. And it's been very consistently staying there. And it barely popped up here to what, -2, -3? It never went positive. So, and it does look like it's trending back down again right here too. So I don't know what's going on. Now listen. You see how that's going down and the BT is going up? I'm not going to get into what the BT is. It takes some explanation, and I haven't explained that to you guys yet. So I'm not going to get into that. But we look for -6. So I don't want to keep you guys here on a boring graph. But also, look, our density is jumping around. This is what I call popcorn. Density and speed on this graph is just looks like popcorn. So when you get a data entry, it's literally a dot. So when you get data entries that are the same number, back to back to back to back to back, what's it look like? Guess what? It looks more like this, a solid line. Much like when you're looking at your TV. When you get a bunch of green dots lining up, it looks like a, right? That's how the images are made on your TV. Different colored dots and different patterns. At different intensities and everything else. Back to that same light conversation we were having. Very similar, right? So anyway, this up here staying very consistently -6, but our data, the actual conditions themselves, as far as how dense it is and the speed, is fluxing pretty good. It's jumping around pretty decent here, okay? It's not like excessive or anything like that, but I can confidently tell you it's not staying nowhere near the same reading, or you just would not see the popcorn look. You would see more of this. Also, something else that causes this to look more like popcorn, you're only getting to see 300 to 500. That's a 200 kilometer a second range. That's not very much. So, for instance, if that said 300 to 800, this would look very close to a straight line. You see what I'm saying, guys? And I know that might confuse people too, but that's how that works. And I've been asked, why do they change these numbers around? They have to. Okay? So when they're showing us something, and if it was to say 0 to 10, typically, so we can actually get a good kind of visual line here, graph of what's going on, and understand it visually. Because guys, that's what this is for. This is just when they give us graphs like this, it's supposed to help us understand visually. Okay? If they didn't want to do that, all they would have to do is post the data numbers. Do you hear what I'm saying here? The data is not changing. It's just visually they're trying to help us understand it better. And themselves too. Okay? That's why we do models. It helps us understand things. Visually. So we could see. It really does. It helps our brain wrap around what we're talking about. So anyway, you get fluxing on the density and the speed. So that's what's happening there. Now, I want to show you guys the magnetosphere model. Now, I want to show you right here where we're at, right there. I'll back it up here. First thing, though, I want to show you is the magnetic pressure is what right here. Sun's off to the left, and we see what we call the bow shock, and I guess I'm going to show it to you here first. This is a different model. This is the Australian model I show you guys all the time. But this is our bow shock. It's the first point of contact of solar wind, space weather, and our magnetic field. It's where they meet, right? So anything behind that has some magnetic protection from our planet. Anything in front of it does not. What that means is, sometimes when the standoff position, which is nothing more than the position of our bow shock here, they measure it here, right? If it gets inside the satellite line, which is what's here, it exposes the satellites to just straight space weather, and it could damage them. Now I know we got Soho out there a million miles closer to the sun than what we are, but it's there, and they know it's there, and they've made it that way for a reason. So anyway, I'm not going to get into detail about that either, but it even goes into safe mode sometimes. So when it senses or sees or whatever, it can shut itself down into a safe mode to protect its data collection, the camera itself, anything in there. It's protecting itself. Okay, and I'm sure they can shut it off into safe mode here too from here at Earth. But all these satellites typically will have that. So when we start getting space weather, guys, we're getting hit, right? So you have to understand that some of the data collection that we see and get are going to be influenced by those kind of safety shutdowns if we're having any kind of space weather at all. So, and it's not, we get through because that's also a reason why we have multiple repetitive data collection on different satellites. That way, if one goes into safe mode and the other one doesn't, then hey, we got, all this and that. It's much like this right here. This is Discover. The backup for this data here is here. Right? It's the same readings. Same exact thing. This is ACE. This is all we used to have. Now we got two of them. This is the older style, but it's still there, and we get to use it if Discover's having issues. Okay? So that's why we have that. And it's all back and forth, doing this, doing that, whatever it does, it's doing its thing. So, with that being said, let's just run this model right here. This is on the 30th. Now, I want you guys to watch it. You guys see that? What's going on? Did you guys see that? I'm going to pause it because I want to make sure that you guys understood what happened right there. I'm going to go forward. Now, watch. I'm going to... Well, okay. There it goes. You see how that's going off the edge of the screen? Right? If that's going off the edge of the screen, that means that our bow shock has had what we call rapid expansion. And typically that happens after we get compression. We'll get hit in the front, it'll push it back, and then Earth's magnetic field will win that battle again, at least for a short amount of time. And it'll push that thing because it's still pushing real hard, right? So it's just like I said before, when I was a kid, I used to wrestle with my uncle. He'd stick his arm out, put it on my forehead, and I could never get to him, right? And all he had to do was step to the side and move his arm, and then what happened? I lunged forward and hit the ground, right? Well, that's what our bow shock's doing. The uncle is the sun. The bow shock is my head. He's pushing on it. He moves out the way for a minute, and I lunge forward. That's exactly kind of what's going on right here. At a very, very simple, basic explanation that isn't nowhere near explaining all of it. But it is giving you guys at least an understanding of what is happening there. That's why it does that. Okay? At the lowest explanational level. Okay, so we see that. Now, let me, this is right now. You see what's happening here? We're still getting rung a little bit here, guys. And if I'm looking at this forecast correctly, they're saying here in the next, well, this would be 3 to 6. So in the next 6 hours, we should be back up in the storm level again. So they are expecting some more hits here. Now, that's probably coming from some CMEs, maybe a solar wind stream, and we're going to take a look at that in just a second. But this data here, right? That's how we measure geomagnetic activity, geomagnetic storming, correct? So if we come over here, this is the Australian, not Australian, but this is the German model. And what this is these are 30-minute data collection points. It's a 30-minute average, and they put a bar there, right? Over here, these are 3 hour. So this one here gives us more real time, right? So we get to see more data quicker. It doesn't make this better or worse. It just means that that's what we're seeing, right? Now, if you're looking for an overall, hey, how bad was this storm, da 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 da, this is probably better. If you're looking to see what's going to happen in the next 30 minutes and what happened 30 minutes ago, guess what? This one's probably better. So they're both useful, is what I'm trying to say. And if you go to the home page here, actually it'll have all of them. Okay, here's the KP. This is the same as this. Okay, so they understand that too. This is actually that's the KP index, and it look what we got back here on August 18th. They're just showing you that right there. That's KP. Well, it ain't going to show us anything else. I'll have to I'll have to go back to that. But actually, I'm just gonna X out of that and go to it again. I can't write. I never did translate that, and that's why it's doing that. I can't read German. But anyway, there you go. There's that. So now back here on the magnetosphere part, okay, I already showed you here, right, how simple this is. But this is where this model really becomes useful. Okay, this is going to give us a different visual, right? The sun's off to the left, space weather's hitting. You're still going to have a bow shock. Everything else is still there, right? This right here is density. When the lighter colors are the lighter density, and vice versa, the dark blues are the more dense areas. This is all this is showing you is density. Nothing else is it claiming to show you on this part of this model. Okay? So don't think that, like, because there's multiple times, this whole thing sometimes during bigger storms will look like, it'll be solid blue. And it'll look like nothing is happening. But the time will be moving. You know what's happening then? That means that either everything on this whole graph, this whole model that it's showing us, all the density is the same, or most likely there's sections of it that are actually higher. And it just doesn't have the capability to show us that high increased density. Okay? So my point is, a lot of times you'll come over here and inevitably somebody will start screaming the bow shock's down. The bow shock's down. Code red, code red, code red. Everybody head for their shelters and code red, code red. Run, run, run. No, no, no. That ain't what's going on, guys. What's happening is that all it means is on one side of the bow shock and on the other, it's the same density. Or the bow shock itself, remember how I said the standoff position, it'll push off the edge of the model. That happens here too. So we have to take that in consideration. In order for the bow shock not to be there, one of two things has to happen, or both. The sun has to completely go away, because that's what produces solar wind, or our magnetic field has to go completely away. Either one of those is a really bad day for us. Okay? We would not, so I'm not going to get into anything like that. What I'm saying is, when somebody's screaming that and they're talking to you on the internet, are you kidding me? Really? Gives me a break. Anyway, so I'm going to keep moving. But that's why, okay? Bow shock doesn't go down like that, guys. It just simply doesn't. Those two things is what causes the bow shock to be there. The only way for that bow shock not to be there is if one of those two things goes away, or both. And like I said, really bad day for all of us if that happens. Anyway, this is magnetic pressure. You can tell I'm a little fired up right now. I get fired up when I haven't done a live stream in a minute. But anyway, so I do want to show, especially Ilea, because Ilea and Ripper and everybody, I was talking in a mod chat that we have set up, and telling them about this strange looking little magnetosphere signatures that I'm seeing, right? And I told him, I was like, hey, listen, I don't know what's causing it. It's probably something we could figure out, but I'm not saying it's kind of, oh my God, or anything like that. It's just something I've never seen. So let me take you to that time. Now, you can see here, look at this, okay? Now, remember last week when I was showing you guys the Aurora substorm with our magnetosphere? The tail got stretched out, and then we had a reconnection, and that reconnection sent energy back towards our planet, right? Because the magnetic lines reconnected. That circuit was complete, so it shot, right back at us. And it came in on our poles, and it gave us very, very intense aurora for a very, very short amount of time, globally, on that latitude line. Okay? That's what happens. I explained that all last week, right? If you're interested in hearing about that, you can go find that video. It's back there. I guess I could link it after I get done here. But as I move forward here, I started seeing right about there. Okay? Right here. I don't know that I've seen it do that. At least not on this model. Okay? And I'm not trying to make any claim here. I'm not. So don't think that. There's a really good explanation for it. I know there is. I just got to find out what it is. And why do I think that that's weird or strange or something that I can confidently tell you I'm not seeing? Well, if you look at this, it's very symmetrical from the blues to the reds on the backside here, right? So if you take into consideration what's actually happening, we're getting hit in the front. Everything should be moving or have that constant flow to the right. So we form a magnetotail right here in our magnetosphere, right? And we do know we get reconnection points, okay? Reconnection points is typically what we see back here. And the same thing that produced the Aurora substorm, we get smaller events like that when we get a reconnection, because when it hits, it'll break a magnetic field line, okay? And it keeps moving, and then it'll reconnect back to our system. So that oftentimes, almost every time we get hit decently, on both top and bottom, you'll see it. It'll hit, and then it'll loop back like this. And it'll appear like it's coming from behind us. And technically it kind of is, but it didn't start back here. It started from the hit from the sun. Okay, so the source isn't back here. The source was in the front. It broke a magnetic connection line, and those connection lines reconnected back here. So the energy went the opposite direction. Now, that also means that it was inside our magnetosphere. It was not outside of our magnetosphere. So it wasn't being influenced by the sun at that point. We were protecting it. Okay? So keep that in mind too. So, with that being said, reds move from left to right here, I believe, and blues move from right to left. So you see those colors, and you see it do that. It right here, especially in the front, it's almost like it just mirrored itself. And I don't know what happened there. I can't give you any answers for that. I'm just showing it to you. I have no idea what happened there. My guess is, and if I'm going to throw an opinion out there, and remember, guys, I'm just now casting. I'm not a doctorate in this at all. I get things wrong, and when I do, I tell you, right? So if you can kind of look at this right now, you see this, what we're seeing right here? That's typically what we see. We see a bigger front side, and then we get a skinnier backside here, and it pulls out. Yes, I know I said skinnier backside. Go ahead and get your giggles in the chat. Anyway. So, watch what happens. We're getting hit in the front, right? And boom. See it splitting back here again. But for it to just do that right away, because the blue colors, like I said, are moving the opposite direction. So I really honestly don't know. Okay, I don't have an answer for why. I am just showing to you what's going on. Now, also, what out here in the front, guys, remember what I said about the standoff position. The more room between the start of our bow shock and then back here, the more room that's in there, the more space it has to do things like that. Okay? Consistently, our bow shock is here, normally. I don't know exactly what the standoff position, what would be we would consider exactly in the middle, but my guess is it's around 10 to 12 maybe, right in here. Okay? So if it gets out past that, you're increasing all that stuff in there, and all those particles and stuff in there have a lot more room to move. So I'm assuming that that's probably what's happening here. Okay? And that's why I'm talking about it, because I don't know. I don't have an answer for this yet. I'm just showing it to you. So we get hit right there. And it's interesting to me that look right here. See how it's moving left to right? Now what happens? See that? And that's the hit from the sun. And then it goes back to a more normal magnetosphere signature. And then it still does this. That's what's confusing me a little bit. Because we don't always have these you know, the -6 or the +600 numbers here. This is something that, yeah, I don't know. I honestly don't. So, and I'm not trying to say it's anything crazy. I'm just trying to say that that's just something that I need to figure out what's going on with that, because I don't know. If anybody has an answer for it, I would love to hear it. I'm serious when I say that. If anybody has any kind of, I don't know, any kind of suggestion, any kind of whatever there, and please make it, if you're going to suggest something to me, give me something I can go look at. I would need that to be able to, number one, understand it, and number two, to be able to show everybody else. So, yeah. But with all that extra room in here, guys, I think that we got a whole lot more room for stuff to move around into positions that we don't typically see. So, you know, and I know that we talk about our magnetic field, and it even crossed my mind, but I don't think that, you know, it just, yeah, I don't know if I want to talk about that, because it just starts arguments. If I go here, right about there, I'll just leave it right there, and I'm looking here, right? It's very symmetrical. And if you pay attention to what I'm trying to say here, you know, you got positive and negative on the end of each magnet, right? Well, you know, you kind of got 4 of them there. So I don't know what else to say. I don't think that that's what's going on as far as having all that. But if I stretch that out like there, and again, guys, all these magnetic field lines are one circuit anyway. Each line is. So it wouldn't be like 4 separate poles or anything like that right there. That's not what I'm saying. What I'm saying is we're seeing things maybe from this perspective of this model. We might be seeing it kind of like from a different angle, is what I'm trying to say. And I know that's hard for you to wrap your brain around, but that's kind of what it looks like to me, because we have all this extra room for stuff to move around when our bow shock standoff position is way out here. So that's what I'll say, and I could be completely wrong, most likely. I don't know. And that's why I didn't really want to go into detail there, but I did want you guys to understand what I was seeing here, and that's the only reason why I did. And again, guys, please don't take it for fact right there. That's not why I just gave you my first initial thought. It's not even an opinion yet, okay? I'm just now looking at it too. This just happened right before I went live. So, and I don't have an immediate knowledge base to be able to go back to for this. Oh my goodness. It's good to see you in here, AK. Miss you, girl. You too, Shaper Girl. You've been gone for a couple days. I don't think you've been over on Mars either for a couple times. I haven't been reading the chat, guys. Sorry. Deep Quake. Guys, anybody that's a member, please go back and watch the last members only. Anybody that's not a member, please consider joining. I'm serious, guys. We had such a blast on that last one. We're watching, guys. We don't necessarily do space weather during the members only. We will, we do, we have, but we try to have fun over there, right? And we're watching Zoom Court, and I'll give you a little brief explanation on what Zoom Court we watched the last live stream. Members only. There was actually a case where a person had gender reassignment. Okay, and please don't go stupid in the chat on me here, guys. My mods will get it out of there real quick. And saved his appendages, the two of them that were in the, testicles. Okay, saved his testicles after the surgery in a box in the refrigerator next to the eggs. I am not kidding. It's a real thing. It happened. He took his significant other to court because they split up and his significant other threw them away. So he took him to small claims court trying to get $6,500 for his cut off whatever, right? It's a real court hearing. I'm not kidding, guys. It's a Zoom court, and we've been watching a couple of them. That's actually what the court case was about. And when he changed, had gender reassignment, is now a girl, changed his name. His middle name was D, and she said that she changed it to that because of so she could say D's nuts. And I'm not kidding. She said that in court. So I just want you guys to know that. Okay, so we watched that hearing, and yet we had a blast laughing and learning at the same time. But it was fun. So anybody that is a member, please go back and watch that for a minute. It was fun. It really was. Hey, Mr. Dragon, good to see you. I just can't help it, guys. I'm so sorry. It's late at night, and I'm just, doing my thing. Hey, if anybody sees Hilly, tell him to hit me up. Haven't seen him in any chat for like 2 weeks. So I'm concerned about the guy. So, yeah, J-Poss, 100. And Deep Quake, thank you for all the gifted memberships, brother. And Miss Dragon, you too. Anybody else? And anybody else that just comes out and is a member. I mean, honestly, it's helping me and my family so much. You guys have no clue what I could tell you there. It is. It's making a huge difference. So I just want you guys to know. It's very much appreciated. It's all right, man, girl. All good. All good. This is a weird time for me to be streaming. So, all right, guys. I don't have much more for you. I just really wanted to show you guys that and to show you that, hey, we got to pay attention. Okay. It does look like we're supposed to, as far as the forecast here, get into storm level again. I can't say 100%, but they're saying it right here in the next 3 or 4 hours. If you guys see this signature here, it's just a data dropout, okay? It just means that the GOES 16 is getting eclipsed by the Earth. The Earth's going between the satellite and the sun, okay? Just like SDO does sometimes. But I want you guys to see this, though. This was not forecasted. All this at this level, okay? Now, again, guys, it's just, yeah. Hey, John Starr, thank you for coming a member, buddy. Appreciate you. Awesome sauce, man. Awesome. Love it. We're going to have a good time. I'm telling you, John Starr. I promise. Just come watch. We're going to be doing another one this week, too, just so everybody knows. Yeah, I'm on Eastern Standard too, T Prada. Yeah. I was hoping Schaefer Girl would be there in our last members only. She wasn't there. I think Schaefer Girl, you'd have had a blast over there with us. I know you would have. we had a ball. I mean, I'm not kidding either. We really did. It was fun. It was so freaking awesome. It really truly was. And I'm not just saying that. I had a blast with you guys. I needed it. I mean, it just, yeah, I needed it. I think a lot of us needed it that day. I know Miss needed it that day too. She was going through some stuff that day too. It's just awesome stuff, man. So, yeah, we had a really good time with it. And I'm going, guys, listen, there's a part 2. I'm not kidding you about that either. That's not the only court hearing that happens with that. Just saying. Hey. There was, yeah, one, hey, and I'll say this too. Guys, you can't make truth any more crazier. It sounds like fiction when you say it sometimes, right? So, guys, the initial judge that heard the case the first time and passed it on to the court that we watched, you know what his name was? The Honorable Judge Boykin. And I'm not kidding. Not even a little bit. It's the God's honest truth. I missed that for like 6 months. Hey, Tiffany. Thank you. Thank you for the super chat, girl. I truly appreciate that. Thank you. $5 super chat. Thanks. Appreciate that. AK with the 10. Hey, you're golden, girl. Shoot. You the one that's golden, not me. Man, thank you. Thank you for the $10 super chat. Truly do appreciate you. 100%. 100%. You had me cracking up, by the way, AK. Over there on your, you did that short where you were soaking wet from the rain. Oh, yeah. Schaefer girl, I'm not kidding. That's what I'm saying. This whole court thing was crazy. It truly was crazy. It was something I have never, I mean, I just never thought. And guys, she had a service dog she had in court with her. And she had on like this fedora. It was just, oh my goodness. It was, J Boss, be careful, brother. Be careful. Over on the members, we can go a little stronger with that kind of stuff. Just be careful, man. But no, you cannot make that stuff up, can you? Yeah, Tiffany, for real. I'm not kidding. Yeah, for sure. Drinking the Kool-Aid, baby. Drinking the Kool-Aid. Thank you for that. I like that. I like that little icon, little juice boxes and stuff. That's cool. But thank you for the super chats, AK, and oh, I'm sorry, Tiffany. Thank you, and thank you for becoming a member. Thank you, sir, for doing that, Mr. John Starr. You've been here for a minute too, haven't you? I remember the screen name. No, you're okay, J Poss. You weren't even nowhere close to the line. I'm just saying we could go really, really. You know how we can get. I'm just saying. I worked in a factory for 20 years, guys. So, some things that might offend others won't offend me, but I understand why some things do offend others. I will tell you this though, and this is not me trying to be funny. This is me being real. Okay, it is in the factory, the women talked worse than the men, and I'm not kidding. I promise you that was the truth, and I think that a lot of factories get that. I don't understand why, but maybe the women there just feel a little bit more safer around all the factory workers and stuff, just to be able to say what they think and that kind of thing. I don't know. I don't know the reason for it, but I can tell you that that's what happens. But we will be doing a members only stream in probably the next 2 or 3, maybe 4 days. I'm not going to hammer it down right now. I'm still waiting on my daughter to see how she gets to feeling and stuff. But please come check that stuff out, guys. I wish I could just snap my finger and give you guys all a membership, but I can't. And it does help. It really does help. Number one. And there's quite a few of you guys that are just members, and there's a few of you that just continually gift memberships and stuff like that. That helps so much. With the membership thing, I started at what, $3.99? I believe that's my lowest tier, and I stopped it at $19.99. And it's just one of those things where you do it, and it's more like I don't know how can I say this? I guess it's more of a guaranteed for the month kind of money. If that makes any sense to anybody. I really don't know if that's how others look at it, but that's just what it is, and it just because I can look at the analytics and stuff and know exactly because somebody's already paid it for the next whatever, right? But that's just what it is, and it makes a huge difference in our lives. My wife is so appreciative of you guys. My wife bought all this stuff that I'm sitting here talking to you guys on right now, so that's her. I am, yeah, it's her game. I'm just a player. You know what I'm saying? That's just what happens. So, Deep Quake, what's up, brother? Thank you. Coming in there with the 5 memberships again. Wowzers. Love it. Love it, brother. You're an awesome dude, man. You truly are. I'm not even just saying that. Even without that. So, I just want to say that. Well, thank you, Schaefer girl. Appreciate you. And there's Ilea. Ilea's in the Izzy. That's right. There's Deep Quake. Thanks, brother. I appreciate you again. And, yeah, guys, what Schaefer girl just did right there, if you guys have a membership, you guys get a free super chat like that once a month. So, just want you guys to know that. Use it. Exactly, Tiffany. That's such a great statement. You know how life works. Guaranteed. Hey, aloha, Kathy. Good to see you, girl. Yeah, I'm sorry, guys, for being a little, I'm kind of all over the place here, guys. I know I'm squirreling really, really bad. And I probably will get hammered for it in the comment section. I do appreciate you guys taking up for me, but please just let that stuff hang out there, okay? You know, I know yeah, I get that sometimes people get really rude with me, but I know that that's what happens, and I can handle it. I promise you. Okay, guys? I just don't want to bring any negativity your guys' direction, and it can do that. Well, thank you, John Star. I appreciate you. Seeking Truce in the house. Thanks. Good to see you. Glad you made it. Hey, George. Okay, guy. Hey, Chewy. What's up? All right, guys. I am going to pop off. Yeah, you're right, J-Poss. 100%. I mean, that's one thing. I had to, grow my thick skin, guys. I am not even kidding. Well, thank you, Schaefer girl. Appreciate you. Yeah. Guys, she's the hardest working girl on the planet. I'm telling you. Every time I would talk to her in the chat over on Marfugal and here, she was always at work. At one point, you had 3 jobs, if I remember right. Hey, Lisa, good to see you. I know, Lisa. I know. I truly do try my best to accommodate everybody. And that's why I started trying, and I do for the most part. If you guys notice, there's reasons why I changed a little bit. Cool, man. Cool, the Delane. Not sure if you're a man or a girl. Can't tell by that screen name, but well, thank you. And it's comments like that right there that keeps me going. Hey, Susie Q, good to see you. I'm not kidding you. You can take one positive comment and it will erase 30 of the bad ones. Get some sleep, girl. You ain't gotta, yeah, you're good. Thank you for even coming. Seriously. This is one of those late night streams that I used to do them all the time, but I just can't, Well, thank you, Seeking Truth. that is always my focus no matter what. Back at you, Kathy. Back at you. Yeah, Kathy. It's that's good advice though. Seriously, that's overall good advice in the fact of you start getting upset. Sometimes it is better to walk away for a few minutes. Whatever you're getting upset about, just in life in general. I'm not kidding about that. It truly. I'm not just saying that. That's just what it is. I'm feeling okay. My daughter had surgery yesterday. She's actually feeling better now too. Everything's on the up and up. Hey, good to see you, Susie, guys. It really is good to see you. I ain't seen you in a minute. At least not in the chat. I'm sure you've watched. And so, just so everybody understands, like when I come here now, I changed the intro for a reason. That was on the advice of a good friend of mine, and he knows what he's talking about. Two good friends of mine. You guys might know them. Dex and Adam, telling you. Um, so when you change the intro like that, what I was doing, I would start with like a big, like a 2 minute, hey, I'm gonna let everybody kind of filter in here. Logically, that kind of makes sense in your head, right? No, it doesn't make any sense at all if you think about how people watch YouTube. If you're not getting grabbed in that first 30 seconds, people are clicking off and gone. There's actually an analytic inside of YouTube that we get to see as channel owners that is a 30-second retention rate from the time the video started till 30 seconds later. And if that ain't at a certain, I took their advice and changed my intro up from a 2 minute, 2.5 minute like wait screen to just doing a bullet point. Hey, this is what I'm getting ready to talk about. 30 seconds, right? Hey, I'm going to talk about Aurora, Magnetosphere, CME, whatever, right? If I do that, people know what I'm getting ready to talk about, so they stick around for a little bit longer, and then they start to hear, and then I just go straight into what I'm getting ready to talk about. And I haven't, and I got the new rule now. I'll stop once in the middle and say thanks, and then I'll stop again at the end. And then at the end, guys, is where, like what I'm doing right now. Okay, I'll be able just to kind of drop back and be able to talk a little bit because people can click off then. That's fine. But I just, with that, guys, I went from that 30-second retention rate on my old percentage was like 40%. It's up over 75% now. My views are up. Everything is up. And here's the thing. You guys are awesome because you guys are going to come watch no matter what, right? I mean, that's just what it is. We build a bond with each other, and I do the same with a lot of other channels. It don't matter what they're talking about. If they're live, I go watch, right? At least for a few minutes. The stuff I just talked about is mainly for grabbing newer viewers, so they can, bring an awareness to space weather and those kinds of things. Just letting them know, hey, this is the channel, and this is what we do here. So the thumbnail matters. All that stuff matters. It becomes an art form, and I'm still honing my art in, and it really does. I lean on a lot of people, and I take the advice from people that I trust. And Dex and Adam are just awesome friends and brothers of mine, and I trust what they say, and especially on that kind of stuff. And it just, it's making a huge difference. That's just what I'll say, and I can't appreciate them any more than what I do. I try to do the best I can, and and I know they appreciate me too because I'm over there all the time trying to do it and help out and do the mod thing and just being a friend for them too. So that's the kind of community that I'm talking about. I said all that just to let you guys know that we are a community, not just here on my channel. When I say community, our family, it encompasses a lot of other channels. It encompasses, Marfugo and everybody else that I talk about. Anybody like Ripper and everybody else here that's running channels. Seriously, guys. I'm not kidding. You guys can go look at my subscription list. Go to my awesome channel list and just look at that. Every channel that I'm supporting, not every, a lot of the channels, because I miss some from here and there. But if you go look at my awesome channel list, there you go. I mean, I don't really don't know what else to say. But yeah, so. Alrighty. What you retracting comments for, Miss Dragon? I'm just kidding. I didn't even read it. Yeah. Yes. Hey, you're right. You're right about that. Miss Dragon here, she said, her thumbnails are AI artwork. It avoids copyright issues. 100% it does. 100%. Just so you know. But there's other ways around that too, miss. There's you can go to Pixabay. Pixabay is non-royalty, non-copyrighted, and they don't, they don't require much of anything. You can put just a generic hyperlink to the Pixabay website. There's millions of artwork over there too that you can use. It's all free, but the AI thing does work really well. So, and you're right, you can skip past all that crap. So, all right, guys, I'm gonna get off here. I've been sitting here just yapping and yapping for 15 minutes about just stuff that has nothing to do with space weather. So, anyway, guys, I will talk to you guys later. God bless. Yahusha saves, and I'll be doing another live stream later on today, probably with an update. So, just so you guys know. And you can drink this Kool-Aid.